Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744, and today, guys, we do my Europa League final preview and prediction, guys. So when we look at this Europa League final, guys, we have two teams that have been awful this season, both Spurs and Man United. And Spurs this season, let's start with Spurs first, guys. Spurs this season have not been great. I believe this is the most ever losses they've ever had in the Premier League, probably the worst Premier League season they've ever had. And Ange Postecoglou is under immense pressure because if they lose, he's definitely getting sacked. And even if he wins, there's a potential he gets sacked. You know, and it's very interesting to see how Spurs do. And remember, this is Spurs' first time in the Europa League final since in the new format. They've never made the Europa League final under the new format. I know they won the European Cup back in the day, but in terms of the new Europa League format, they have never done it. And also remember, guys, this is the furthest they made in Europe since 2019, and we all remember that 2019 run where they miraculously made the final against the odds by defeating Ajax and defeating Manchester City with late goals either benefiting them or, you know, getting lucked out. So I think for Spurs was very key is that Ange Postecoglou has built a defensive winning machine because defensively, in Europa League guys, Spurs have been pretty good in the knockout stage. I mean, they only conceded one goal against FC 20, and then obviously against what is it called in the quarterfinals tie against Frankfurt, they only conceded one, and Bodo Glimt they only conceded one. So defensively, these guys have been pretty spot on with Vicario being at the back, Romero being there, Van de Ven, of course. These guys have been important, and it's also been crazy. The Spurs have been able to manage to make the Europa League final without Son Heung-min. Son Heung-min, he's not even played at all, large in Europa League knockout stage, and they've largely got it done without him, which is commendable. And when you ask Spurs fan who's their best player is, they will probably pick Son. And Son this season has not been as good as previous season. I still think Son is a really good player, though. Let's not twist this around. And for Spurs, they can make history here by winning their first trophy since 2008. And we can make an argument that if Ange Postecoglou wins this, he might be the best Spurs manager in quite some time. I mean, the best Spurs manager people will probably say is Maurizio Pochettino, but as good as Pochettino was, he never won any trophies with Spurs, you know. So there's that aspect to look at. Then you have the Manchester United aspect. This is the first Europa League final for them since 2021. Obviously, they won it in 2016, of course. And what's interesting is that this United team this season have been unbeaten. They're the only team in Europe that have not lost a game at all this season, which is crazy to say, you know, as well as the fact that this United team have been awful. Ruben Amorim has come in mid-season and could potentially surpass Ten Hag by winning this Europa League. And in my opinion, if he wins the Europa League, he surpasses Ten Hag as a manager here, which is crazy to say considering Ten Hag has won two trophies, FA Cup and Carabao Cup respectively. And I just look at this United team, Bruno Fernandes, bro. What this guy has been unbelievable. The amount of disrespect this guy gets week in and week out is unbelievable. This guy has been consistently been balling out for Manchester United the last couple of seasons, and he's been scoring goals, getting assists, scoring penalties, being that captain-like leader. And I feel like he's done a fantastic job. Shout out to Maguire, by the way. Maguire's also had a huge revelation. He's been pretty solid in the Europa League. Casemiro as well has been fantastic. And for United, this is it for them because this is their season. Both of their teams need the season. And what makes this very high stakes is that one of these teams is going to get Champions League and the other team is going to get absolutely nothing, not even be a part of European competitions. That's what makes this final so interesting is that both these teams need Champions League desperately because both these teams can miss out a lot of revenue from not even qualifying for the Champions League. And remember, guys, what is it called? This is the Premier League final, essentially. Like Spurs have beaten Man United three times this season, but I can assure you this right now that this Europa League final is the most significant. Don't tell me that all Spurs have beaten Manchester United in the three previous games that's going to make a difference. When it comes to these kind of finals, head to head means nothing. It's about who wants it more in the day. It's about history, and I just feel like for me, for Man United, as I said, they've been here before. They played in the final before, 2021, as I just told you guys. Spurs, on the other hand, most of these guys haven't really played a final ever. The inexperience is going to be a huge factor. And with that being said, I have to favor United. United should win this trophy when you put everything into consideration. And this is Spurs of the day. Spurs, the team, are just not known for winning trophies. I will say this though: if Spurs do somehow manage to win, this will be worse than Villarreal. because at least with Villarreal, at least they've had some heritage. You know, they made the Champions League semifinals, and they're not clowned on in Spain. But with all due respect, Spurs are a clowned on team pretty much even in England. So, and as the saying goes, I know you guys have been telling me this in the comments. Ange Postecoglou wins trophies in the second season. Well, I think it's going to end here. I think United's going to win this. They're going to win the Europa League. I think Bruno Fernandes will turn up and do his thing. And I just feel like for me, I just don't trust Spurs. I don't trust Spurs whatsoever. But as I said, it will be typical United if Spurs do win this game. So I wouldn't put it past Spurs. So, like I said, there's my quick preview and prediction, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this prediction, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and let me know which team you guys think is going to win the Europa League, guys. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, man. Peace out.